If you've paid for multiple online courses and you still feel like you're stuck or you haven't mastered any skill, then I have something important to share with you. It was Adeife Adeoye, I follow her from TikTok. It was Adeife who said people don't pay for information, they pay for someone to hold their hand, they pay for structure, they pay for accountability, and they pay for community. And it stuck with me. The more I reflect on it, the more it explains why people are still struggling even though everything is virtually online. Hello guys, welcome back to the Diary of a Crafts Enthusiast. If you see my face for the first time, my name is Elvin and the people here call me Skilled Elvin. I'm so glad to have you. Before we get into the video, please tell me in the comments what's something you're currently interested in or you're trying to learn, and I might just talk about it in my next video. But for today, let's talk about why people are still struggling even after paying for courses online. First, information is not the problem, because let's be honest, everything is online. You can learn literally anything for free online. From AI, data analysis, graphic designs, digital marketing, and even handmade skills such as crocheting, beading, braiding. Everything you need to learn is online for free. Like on YouTube, everything you need is online for free. So why do people still struggle to learn skills? Or why do people still go ahead and pay money in order to learn a new skill? Generally, why do people still struggle? It is not because knowledge is missing, but because self-learning alone is hard and consistency is even harder. And quite frankly, if information alone were enough, many people would already be successful. Don't you agree? We all need support a lot more than we need information, especially as a beginner in any skill you're trying to master. And by support, I mean someone to hold your hand, someone to guide you, someone to check in on you, someone to show you the steps in order, and someone to remind you that you are capable. And someone to provide a path for you, because information alone on the internet is scattered. I mean, you can either watch 20 random videos on YouTube, or you can have someone show you or have someone tell you this is where to start, this is where there is the most challenge, this is where you should take a break, this is what you need at this level, focus on this as a beginner, blah, blah, blah. This is what you pay for, an organized system, a system that gives you direction. Someone says beginners perish for lack of direction, and I totally agree. This is why many learners get overwhelmed even before they start learning. So this is something I want you to carefully think about before you go ahead and pay for any course online. Don't just look at the context or the curriculum of the course you're paying for. Look at the person, look at the community, look for structure. Someone I like to talk about a lot when I'm talking about community is Ife of Dang Lifestyle. If you're familiar with Nigerian content, you definitely know Ife of Dang Lifestyle. She has built her community. What she has is a community. More of a community. Like her business, Dang, like her skincare business, right, is more of a community than it is a business. You hear her talking about community members, you hear her talk about, and this is not just people who follow her online, you know, it's like how she addresses even her clients. It's a community for her. So this is what you should look out for. Is a person, so a community person. So you should ask questions like, is there a clear learning path? Is there a space to ask questions? Is a person actually available? Is it a community, or is it just videos dumped in a folder? And will someone notice if I disappear? One way to check for availability is by paying attention to how that person replies to comments and DMs on their page on social media. Because a course without structure or accountability is just expensive information, I'm telling you. Now let's talk about accountability. Accountability while learning an online course is really important, because if someone checks on you, you show up. You don't just show up, you practice, you finish, and you report back. That way you stay motivated. Most of you stop learning not because you're not talented, not because it is hard, but because no one is checking on you. You fail because nobody is checking up on you. When I ran my crochet training sometime mid last year, I made it a core responsibility to check up on my students. Like, I was always going from DM to DM. This is not me saying that I'm the perfect teacher, please, but I'm just giving like my example. I used to go from DM to DM asking my students like, how far, especially when they don't submit their assignments. Of course, there are people that would submit their assignments, you don't even need to go to their DMs. But then there were this set of people that you had to go to their DMs maybe to find out how far, why haven't you showed up, why are you stuck somewhere, what's going on, okay? And that way it really helps push them, like it really helped them to stay motivated. Of course, Not everybody is going to finish the race till the end, that's what is sure, but I'm just here to make sure that if out of 100 people and if just 10 people are finishing the race, you are one of them. And this is how you do that. You make sure that you show up. It always went a long way in motivating them and making sure that they showed up for their task and for their project. So accountability alone, it goes a lot. So a simple message like, oh hey, how's your training going? Why haven't you submitted your last week's project? Or any random question is way better than maybe you watching 50 random tutorials on YouTube and not knowing if this is the next guide or if this is the next thing to do from there, right? So work with somebody who is accountable, someone who you can be accountable to, and who is also accountable to you for your money. That's basically it. And let's talk about how community makes learning easier as well. If you've watched till this moment and you have not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. That simple act goes a long way in keeping me motivated and making sure that I show up here every day. Please do so now. I'm waiting. Thank you. You can also go a step further and turn on the notifications bell so that you get updated whenever I post a new video and you don't miss out on any of our gists. Let's talk about how community makes learning easier as well. There's something powerful in knowing that you are not the only beginner. You're not the only one struggling. Others are trying too. Community builds courage. And when you learn with others, you definitely grow faster. And this is the part where your money pays for belonging. Yes. There's also something about learning in a community that people often take for granted or people don't talk about it enough. If you're learning with other people, if you're learning a skill, you can't afford to be, if you're learning a skill in a community or along with other people, you can't afford to be a silent learner. You're allowed to say you're confused. You're allowed to say you're stuck. You're allowed to show your unfinished projects. You're allowed to ask questions. Because if you don't ask questions, if you don't share where you're stuck, if you don't engage, learning becomes slower and harder. I experienced this also while I was doing my online crochet training. I had two very young students. I think one was about 10 years, another one was about 12 years. They were from different homes, by the way. And there was one that would always come and all the time would be like, oh, this is what I've done. I got stuck here. I couldn't finish this. Like, she was so unashamed of showing her unfinished projects. She would literally call me on video call and be like, a very young girl, she'd be like, oh, this is where I couldn't get it. I want you to help me get here, blah, blah, blah. And you know, I would always do my best to show up for her. And then the other person who was really young as well, I had to keep running after her. Like all the time I'll have to ask her, oh, what's going on? It was really pretty hard for both of them since they were really both young. And both of them needed that zeal, you know, that encouragement. So I had to keep running after the other one, like, oh, how far? Why haven't you submitted your project? And to be very honest, at some point, I got tired of always being the one to come to her, especially given she had a rival who was always coming to me all the time. So eventually, as you guessed, of course, you guessed right, eventually the one who kept coming to me, she's way more better in the crochet today than the one whom I was the one running after. So, like I said, when you show up, when you engage, when you ask questions, it is easier not just for you, but for the teacher as well. So make sure that you are not a silent member in the community. Participation moves you forward. And again, people don't pay for information. In fact, you are not paying for information. You are paying for guidance, accountability, and a community. So you might be wondering, with all the free information online, with all the this and that, people can learn for free. Why do, despite all sewing tutorials being online, despite all crochet, despite all any skill you want to learn, for AI courses, coding courses, digital marketing, graphic designing, everything is online. People are still always going to pay for these online courses. Not because the information is hidden, but because paying for these courses provides something that learning on your own can never provide. What are those things? Simplicity, there is clarity, there is guidance, and most especially human connection. So if you're not going to get any of these things from whoever you're paying for a course to, then maybe you should sit back, put yourself together, and go the long and lonely road of learning by yourself. Because it's not the information that transforms people, it's the support that helps them use the information. And if you're already thinking about going through the long and lonely road of learning all by yourself, you can check out the description box. There's a video I've linked to this. There's a video I've linked on the description box that has like a video I made earlier that has steps to follow, like a guide on what I would do if I were to learn a skill for free online. So this January, or whichever month you're watching this presently, if you choose one skill to start now and stay on it consistently for the next 12 months, again, the support must not necessarily be a community. It depends on which one you can afford at the time. But the support could just be your accountability partner, like I said in my other video. Because behind all of these things is a lot to do with consistency and just showing up daily. If you choose to stay on it consistently, you find your own structure and you get your support, I can assure you that 12 months from now, you're going to be killing it. You know, the Buddha says confidence and killing it, right? You're going to be so confident, you're going to be skilled in that domain, and you'll possibly be making money from it already. And to be honest, that's quite frankly why this channel exists. I'm here to encourage you and give you the support that you need that makes learning online possible. Because the real transformation is not in the information, it's in the guidance. So let's make 2026 a year you stop collecting information and a year that you actually start building real skills. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up by hitting the like button. You can also leave a comment to let me know that you learned something. And please don't forget to subscribe. That's how you officially become a part of our community. I post new videos every Friday and I wouldn't want you to miss out on any of our new videos. So make sure you turn on the notifications bell and I will see you in my next video next week. Bye bye.